Welcome to the Hopkinton Hangout Hour. I'm Mike Terosian. Today with me is my co-host, Jim Cousins. Hi, Jim.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great. And we got Tom Nappy. We have Matt Clark and Bob Hamilton. They're going to be in the background for this half hour as we talk to Annette Kaminski, a personal trainer in Hopkinton. And Jim, do we have Annette here with us?
She is joining us as you speak.
Yeah, I just got the yup from her on Facebook, so everyone's coming along. And there's Annette. Hello.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for coming along today.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me.
How you doing on this lovely, very chilly but lovely day today?
I'm doing pretty good. I guess I'm doing what I've been doing for the last few weeks, trying to get out a little bit, going out on my deck. I've been, actually the weather, it's pretty nice out. So I got outside a little bit today.
Oh, that's excellent. So what kind of things you've been doing to keep yourself busy?
Let's see, what have I been doing to stay busy? Well, I've been working out regularly because I'm lucky that I do have a gym at home. I've been doing a lot of laundry, cooking. I've been doing some baking with my daughter, reading, doing some things that I haven't done in a while, actually. I guess that's the one thing about this.
Now, do you find yourself that you have to schedule what you got to do sometimes? Because I mean, I look at a clock and I tell you, the only thing I see on the clock handles pointed to is Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Whether it's 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, all I see is Wednesday. It's like time has no relevance anymore.
Exactly. Like you don't even realize that it's Friday. Like one morning I went into my daughter's bedroom on a Friday and I said, "Don't you have class?" She's like, "Ma, it's Friday morning." I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even realize it was a Friday."
We find the same thing. And I know, Jim, Jim's pretty good at working at home. He's done it a lot over the years. This is the first time I ever had to do it. And Jim, what are some of the things that you find yourself doing?
Unfortunately, I find myself wandering over to the refrigerator a fair amount, or walking over to the pantry to grab a bag of potato chips. So other than that, I've just started going for walks with my wife. And that's been really, really good to get out in the fresh air and take my dog outside for a little play. So that's what I'm trying to work on.
Well, that leads us up to why we have Annette here, because we've all been to the refrigerator way too much. So, Annette, what else can we do other than go to that pantry or get those chips? And what other kind of movements could we be doing in the house?
Mike, I have some great strategies for you.
Well, great. Let me get my notebook.
and for Jim, I have some great strategies.
We're ready.
So I wrote a few of them down because I don't want to forget them. But some of my best strategies, I feel, is that you want to make sure that you're getting your exercise in daily. So I find the best way to do that is that you need to schedule this on a calendar or a notebook, or plug it into your phone, like you have a work meeting. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to find it important, or you're going to find something else to do. But if you say 7 a.m. workout for half an hour, workout for an hour, you're more apt to do it, I feel, than if you're not scheduling it. I find that really important, especially if you you have kids and you're really busy. You really want to find the time because you really need to exercise. I mean, it's so important now that people are stuck in their homes and stuff, that they find time to do this, because there's really not much you can do health wise other than working out. And I have some things that you can do. And another reason I feel like it's really important right now, especially with the pandemic, that you exercise, is because I really feel I've been a true believer that you lead by example. So if you have children and they see that you're making time to exercise, I feel like that's really going to be embedded in them. So when they grow up, they're going to be the same way. I mean, I've been exercising my whole life. I've been really exercising, and me and my husband have always made it really a really important part of our lives. I like to work out. Obviously, I'm in a gym all day, so I like to work out with weights. But I also like to run and do other things. And my husband, he loves to bike. He loves to mountain bike in the woods. He loves to go hiking. I think he was up at 5:30 this morning. He went hiking in the backwoods. things like this. You can find things that you can do and still be social distancing. And I just think it's a good example. Like my kids, I have 3 children, and they've all, been very good at, they've been athletes. They've played sports in, high school and college, and even now they're still, like my son who's graduated. He's still like an avid. He works out all the time. So that is like really important. I feel, for people to do that. And
So when you're would it be schedule that time for yourself? Maybe do it while the kids if you have family, when the kids have something to do that they don't need you helping. That they don't need your help. You can do this while they're doing something. Is
well,
that what you mean?
I think if you want time for yourself, you need to schedule time when you can be away from your kids, but also to remember that during the day, you should schedule some of that time with your kids to do something active. Maybe you could do with them. Like things you could do with your kids is you could inside maybe set up, if they're little kids, set up like an obstacle course with pillows and chairs and stools and stuff like that. Or outdoors, if you with your kids, you could like maybe do like jump rope, or get some chalk and do hopscotch. Or if your kids play a sport, let's say they play basketball, do one-on-one. Keep your kid involved in the sport that they're doing. It's just really important. You want them to to stay active, because they're home, they're stuck in their classes in their room. So make sure that they're just really getting outside and getting something done. And another point I'd like to make is a lot now more than ever, spouses are both at home, and that can be really stressful if people aren't used to being all day home with their spouse. So my suggestion to that would be, obviously you have your own separate workspace, but maybe schedule that that workout hour with your spouse or with your your significant other, and like do something enjoyable. Get online. Like I've been doing a lot of live works out that I record on my website, and you can modify them so someone who's not really into working out can do them as much as someone who's really athletic, because there's different ranges or different modifications, which I'll show you after, on different exercises to make it challenging for anybody. So I think that's an important aspect too.
I think that's great. I'm interested in seeing what you come up with, because about a year ago, I was bringing my daughter to high school every day, and there was a gym nearby that she wanted to go to. So while I was there anyways, I would work out as well. And I noticed that within about 4 to 6 weeks, I was noticing more strength in my arms, and that was really encouraging to me. However, I am in a situation, unlike you, that I do not have a beautiful at-home gym like that. And I'm trying to find something that I could easily maintain or work on for a few weeks until I start to get that feedback that I'm getting stronger. That's going to encourage me.
So my next part of my talk is exactly for you, Jim.
Perfect.
So a lot of people really think that they need to have a gym in their home, which if you do, you're really lucky. But if you don't, I don't know if you've ever heard of HIIT training, high intensity interval training. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
Okay, so what this is getting maybe a group of 5 exercises that you can do with your body weight. And what you would do is you would either do them in terms of a time or in terms of a number of repetitions. And what you could do is you could do, like, say you would do like push-ups, sit-ups, step-ups, reverse lunges. I'll show you these things. And you can do them either for, like, say, a minute at a time. And then what you do, so you would do 5, like you do each exercise for a minute, and then you take a break. And then you could do that circuit 3 to 5 times. Or you can do it in terms of repetitions. You could do like 20 push-ups, 20 reverse lunges, hold a plank for 30 seconds. And either way, the benefit to high intensity interval training is that is the best exercise that you can do to reduce the fat around your waistline. What it is, it brings your heart rate up and down. And that really is like the number one. People don't realize how it's just such a benefit. Even to my clients, I'll tell them, if you're doing like your cardio during the week, try to get at least one workout with the HIIT training in. Because when you're done, So you would do a hit training for 30 minutes versus like some people get on the treadmill for 60 minutes. You're burning more calories and you're burning them for longer after your workout with that. So I'm going to show you some examples. That's just a really good way of things that you can do at home. And it's really better than actually having a gym.
So that's great. I want to see that, but just keep in mind when I'm working with my body weight, I'm only about 120 pounds.
Oh, okay. Well, then we need to get some weight on.
I'm kidding. I
well,
wish.
Don't worry. I'm going to talk about nutrition too, so I'll help you out there.
Great.
Yeah, that's a really good thing to do. But like like I said, the basic movements, and like what I also wanted to say too is, a lot of people really aren't exercising or really never have, but now they're like, oh my God, I'm home. I really need to start exercising. You know, I need it for my body. I need it for my mind. So my advice would be to tell people that you want to exercise, but do it in moderation. If you've never exercised before, like start off slow, do those hit trainings, but instead of going for a minute, go for 15 to 30 seconds. Instead of 20 repetitions, do 10. You know, you can modify it. And that way, you know, you're not going to get hurt, and you're not going to get discouraged. And you can also like yoga. Yoga is amazing, and yoga is really great because you really want the psychological benefits right now, you know, during this pandemic as much as the physical. So, you know, I know at my gym, I work at Encompass Fitness in Ashland, and we have some great yoga instructors. My friend Joe Sienna, he's amazing. And my friend Crystal Lee, she does yoga. So, and I know that she has a lot of online stuff too that people can follow. And that way, you know, you're not going to get hurt, and you're not going to get discouraged. And you can also like yoga.
Jim, do you know what that is?
And yoga is really great because you really want the psychological benefits right now.
Got a little audio issue there. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I think it's good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think we
Yes,
got it.
yes. I don't know what that was, but
that was just me repeating myself.
It's important stuff.
So you do ventriloquism too, because I didn't see a lip.
You didn't know that, right? So I'm like with your kids too, like if you're outside with your kids, like other things you can do is you can like blow bubbles with them. You can set up an obstacle course inside also. But some other things that like I was going to say, like people are inside and they don't realize when they're doing like kind of work and yard work that they're burning calories. So this is just I'm going to give you some examples here. This is based on somebody who's 150 pounds. So if you're less weight, you're going to burn a little less calories. And if you're more weight, you're going to burn more calories. So if you're doing light yard work, you're burning, based on a 150 pound person, about 350 calories in an hour. So, I mean, that's a lot of calories for going out and doing like raking and gardening. And if you're doing like more intense, like chopping wood and stuff, it's up to like 500 calories. And like if you're inside, if you're doing housework, I think it's 350 calories for an hour of housework. And if you like to dance, put on your MTV, I think it's channel 522 in Hopkinton. It's like party rock music, and dance for an hour. I mean, do whatever. You just have to move. It doesn't matter what you do. Do what you like to do.
I like that dancing part, you know. Usually it takes a little tequila or something to get me dancing.
Yeah.
But the exercising part is great. And for a larger guy like myself, it might, you know, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'm double of what you're saying, but am I moving as well as that 150 pound person? So maybe it's not exactly double.
Well, you're definitely burning more calories. I mean, well, are you saying you're not raking as fast, or
Right? Am I raking as fast or as hard as that 150 pound person? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
You're probably working out harder, to tell you the truth, because they're more fit. So they're more. I would say you're probably burning more calories. It doesn't matter. And you know what? It's not always about the number either. If you're doing something physical, you're going to see results. You're going to feel amazing.
Okay.
All right. I have a question too.
Sure.
So you do personal training, right?
Yes.
And do you, like now in this environment, are you doing it over Zoom?
So let me tell you. So right now I have been doing a lot of things for the community and for my gym, just because I want to do it for everybody. I have a lot of clients, but right now we're not meeting. I am able to do virtual training if there are people out there that have gyms. I mean, I'd be more than happy to do virtual training. I mean, it's something that I can do. But I have a personal training page. It's personal training with Annette, and I have some videos on there that I've published, and I have some pictures of people that I'm working out and stuff like that too. So yeah, I'm definitely capable. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm very passionate about working out.
Because I'll be honest with you, I think a really big part of this is motivation and accountability.
Right.
It's so hard to just let it slide when, you know, nobody's gonna hear about it.
Right.
I'm just wondering what like how you work with people or how you may offer tips for accountability and sticking with it.
Okay, so well, like I said, once again, you want to definitely put something on a calendar. Obviously, you can't. It's hard to be accountable. That's why people hire me as a trainer, because they come to the gym and I work them out. And a lot of times, that's the biggest reason why people have a trainer, is because they need the accountability of getting to the gym. But I work them out pretty good too. But I would say that your accountability, it's you and your mind and just yourself. Like I said, I can do the virtual training, which I have done. But when I usually do like a class, I'll ask people to comment, so I kind of can tell who's doing the class. So I'll see the people that are more the regular people that are coming in and doing class with me. But yeah, I really I'm so missing my gym. I just love working out. I love the Encompass Fitness where I work in Ashland. It's such a great group of people. The trainers are amazing. All my friends, you know, Ray, my girlfriend Chris, that I work out with all the time. You know, my friend Patrick, and you know, Mike. Mike is one of the owners of the gym, and he's amazing. He actually does classes, and if you want to get a good workout, go onto the Encompass Millis website, Facebook page, and do one of Mike's classes. He's just so full of energy. He's the best. Yeah, we all really miss each other.
I can't imagine. Imagine.
I was gonna, if you wanted me, I was gonna touch base a little bit about food and how people, you know, could eat during the pandemic and the importance of things.
That was what I was going to go into next, because you know, it is lunchtime. I'm getting hungry, and you know, instead of going for that nice little comfort food or that bag of chips over there, what should we do?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, Mike.
But it's Doritos Ranch. Come on.
Well, okay. So listen, you can have Doritos, but have it as like a reward for something that you've done. So what I would suggest is you want to make sure that you're getting the 4 basic groups. You want to have protein. Basically, protein is what helps you to build and maintain your muscle, which is very important. Protein, some good sources of protein would be like chicken, lean meat, fish, egg whites, cheese in moderation, because cheese is a little bit fatty, but cheese is amazing. And if you're vegan, it would be like tofu, chickpeas, legumes, nuts. Those would be good sources of protein. Carbohydrates, you want to have carbohydrates. I am definitely not a person who is, you know, a non-carb person. I totally believe in carbohydrates. You need carbohydrates for your immune system, and you need carbohydrates for energy. That's what gives you your energy, your carbohydrates. You just have to pick them the right way. You want to have like brown rice.
I know at my gym, I work getting
brown rice. Am I talking over it?
We have some great yoga instructors. My friend Joe. My friend Crystal Lee, she does yoga. So, and I know that she has a lot.
Yes, it's definitely coming from you. Is there anything else that's playing us in the background?
Like a YouTube feed or something? Or Jim, do you know what that is?
It stopped.
Okay, let's go. Keep on going.
Okay, all right. So carbohydrates. So back to the carbs. You want to have carbs, good carbs, brown rice, sweet potatoes, quinoa.
I don't know what that was.
That was just me repeating myself.
So let's do it again.
It's important.
All right, so yeah, we're back on that again.
Okay, Annette, I'm wondering, is there another window open on your machine, like looking at our
our
YouTube channel or something like that, that could be a little bit delayed?
Like I was going to say, like people
I
are
don't know, I'm not very,
inside.
I'm afraid
and
if I
they
touch
realize
something, I'm
when
gonna.
they're doing like kind of work and yard work that they're
Okay.
burning calories. So
Let me
this
see.
is just I'm going to give you
What would it be
examples here.
coming from?
This is based on somebody who's
I think it would be coming from YouTube, which means it would be a different Chrome or a Windows or a browser where you're looking at.
Okay, wait a minute. I have someone who's very technical in my house coming over to see if he can help me here.
based on
All right.
Go ahead.
person about 350 calories in an hour. So I mean that's a lot of calories for going out and doing like raking and gardening. And if you're doing like more intense like chopping wood stuff, it's up to like 500 calories. And like if you're
Got it?
That sounds better.
Yes, it sounds like it just cut off.
This is not the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you for the tech support.
That was my son. See that it's so good to have your kids home. They're so sick of me of asking them how to do things on my computer.
All right. So we're talking about the nuts.
Okay, so carbohydrates. So yeah,
Carbs.
like I said, so you want to have the good carbs. Things that you want to avoid would be like, like white rice. You want to avoid refined sugars, like white bread, things like that. Things that like you want to make sure that you have that carbohydrates of fruit. You want to have like blueberries and strawberries, which are good in antioxidants. But when you're buying fruits and canned, because I know a lot of people are buying canned vegetables and fruits at this time. They can see me, right? You guys can see me, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, all right. When you're buying canned things, usually canned vegetables have a lot of sodium, so you want to check labels. You want to try and stay under 200 milligrams of sodium. And canned fruit also has a lot of sugar, so you want to try and stay under 5 milligrams. And if you can't, maybe just like take the juice out of it and rinse the vegetable, because that would make it a little bit better. That's just a way of kind of going around that. Let's see. So another thing you want to make sure you have is fiber, because fiber is great for your digestion. You want to make sure you have fiber, and fiber also helps to keep you full. So fiber, like bananas, apples, broccoli, stuff like that. And you also want to have healthy fats, which would be like oils, avocados, nuts, and even dark chocolate. Yes, dark chocolate is really good for you. So have that dark chocolate.
That everyone tells me about dark chocolate, and I finally, I think got a taste for it.
Do you like it?
I do, but I'd rather have my milk chocolate. I mean, yes, I do like it, but not as much as if they're next to each other, I'm going to leave the dark one alone.
Well, okay, wait, Mike, let's get back to the Doritos.
I got them right over there.
Okay, wait. So you can have your Doritos on occasion. Just don't make it like a daily habit.
Yeah.
Like, so once you do your workout that you were telling me you're going to do, go out and do that raking and stuff, then reward yourself. But don't bring the whole, maybe like put a few handfuls in a bowl or a handful in a bowl. Because if you carry that big bag around, you're probably going to eat the whole bag. That's another thing. You want to make sure that, you're eating things portion size wise too. So that's really important.
So we got a few minutes left before Mike has to wrap this up. So I have one more question I'd just like to ask.
Okay.
And that is that I want to do something. I want to start exercising. You talked about a lot of interesting things with, body weight exercises and push-ups and all this kind of stuff. There are two things that I want. Number one, I want to know that I'm going to be doing something that's good and sufficient.
Right.
Yes.
And number two, I don't want to have to think about it.
Right.
I'd rather just have like a piece of paper that says, do these things, and then you're done, and then I go on. Where do I get help for somebody like me?
Right here. I can help you. I can help you. I can go online. Do you want me to show you a couple things now? Do we have enough time or not now?
You got 6 minutes. What do you think?
Okay. Let me show you some quick things. Can you guys see me because I don't have you on my screen anymore?
Yes.
Okay. All right. It's awesome. Okay. So some basic things you can do is a squat. A squat is a great thing for your lower body. You want to remember when you're squatting, you want to keep your knees behind your toes. So what you want to do, you can do it off a chair for beginners. You can do these. You put your hands on your waist. If you want to make it a little more challenging, you can. If you're a beginner, get a couple cans. If you don't have weights, grab some cans. You can hold the cans and you can sit and do them like this. If you're more challenged, this is what I want to tell people. If you're someone who works out a lot and you don't have weights at home, grab a backpack, throw some things in it, throw some heavy objects in it. Okay? Then you can use it on your back and you have a weight. It's like having a gym. So you can put this on your back and do some exercises, and it's adding weight. Okay, so that would be one exercise you could do. Another exercise that's great for your core, it's the number one exercise, it's called a plank. A plank you can do a couple ways. A plank, you want to come down with your elbows under your shoulders. And if you're a beginner, you want to stay on your knees. If you're not a beginner, you can come up. Make sure your elbows are right under your shoulders. And to be more advanced, you want to come up on your hands. And you want to hold it. And you want to keep your head like this. Don't let your head drop. Just keep your head kind of aligned with your body. Another exercise that you want to do, obviously, a great one is called a step up. Grab a little stool. All you're going to do is you're going to step up. I lead with the same foot. Okay, you can do it that way. You can put weights in your hand and do it this way. Or to make it even more difficult, you can do it with like a leg up, and then you alternate. These are just different ways of doing it more difficult. Another exercise, obviously, is a push-up. Push-ups are amazing for your upper body, shoulders, back, chest. If you're a beginner, you want your hands a little more than shoulder distance apart. Stay on your knees and just bring your face down. If you want to make it a little bit more advanced, go on your knees, but bring your feet up, bring them back a little bit, and bring your whole body down. And even to make it more, the more traditional way would be up on your feet and just coming down. So those are the three ways. Sit-ups. If you have a ball, I don't do much with the stability ball. The two things I would say to use it for would be you could do an ab exercise. Sit on the ball, walk your feet out to about your shoulders are right above the ball. Put your hands behind your head and curl up. Don't pull on your neck. Just bring your shoulders up. You should feel it in your core. And then another use for this is a chair. If you're working from home, this is better than the chair that you sit at your desk. Put this behind your desk and use this. So much better for your back. It's a great use for this. And one more exercise is a lunge. So a lunge would be to come back like this. Remember to keep your knee behind your toe. And to make this again more challenging, you can put your weight in your hands like this. And you can come back like this. So that's just basically a few things that you can do. I can show you at some point. I can actually even send you guys a video you could put on for people if you'd like.
That's great.
Okay,
I just want to see one thing.
Yes.
I'm always in the beginner level. So
Yes.
the stuff that you showed me is really cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite exercise to do?
My favorite? You mean out of what I just showed you?
No,
Or
when
anything.
you're exercising yourself, what do you like?
I like to use my gym. I've always loved to work out. I love to use my equipment, and I love my treadmill now that I'm home. You can do training on your treadmill, interval training on a treadmill too. With speed or with height, like you could go like 2 minutes at an incline and then come down for 2 minutes. That's also a way to do HIIT training. Or like jog and walk, or walk and sprint. There's different ways.
So that you said you could use your treadmill for training?
Yeah.
I just use it for hold my laundry.
Well, I know, we got to
To
change
get the
that.
laundry off of it?
Yeah.
Well, Annette, this has been fantastic half hour. I'm so glad you were able to take your time out of
Thank
your
you.
day.
I really enjoyed this, Mike. You know,
It-
can I just give a real quick shout out to all my friend trainers and aerobic instructors out there that are doing things online for people as just a courtesy. My girlfriend Mari, my girlfriend Paula, Denise at Encompass, and all my trainer friends. We all miss each other, and we can't wait to get back to see each other again.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I hope to see more of you. Send your videos to us. We'll get them
Yes.
playing. We'll talk offline about that. But right now we have to go. I got Matt waiting. He's going to tell us a little bit more that's coming out on HCAM.
And they can go on my personal training with the Facebook page. They can private message me if they're interested in any kind of training or any advice.
Sure,
Thank
we
you,
have
Annette.
Thank you. That we have your email at the end credit. So thank you very
Awesome.
much.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Matthew, what's coming up?
Well, today, right after this program on the Binge Blocks, we're going to be taking a look at a couple selected episodes of Wake Up and Smell the Poetry from the past couple of years. Tomorrow on Hangout Hour, we're going to be talking about Jake Obid. Is that his last name? About the status of sports in town. And then we're going to be catching up with the superintendent, Dr. Carol Kavanaugh, followed by at 7 o'clock, a live program with Cheryl Peralt.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Matt. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And now I am very, very happy to welcome Binki into our show for the second half hour of the Hangout Hour. And Matt will be sticking with us as a co-host. Binki, welcome to the show.
Hi. Hi. Can you hear me?
We can hear you just fine.
Oh, good. Okay.
You have high quality video too. It's very nice. All right.
Okay.
So Binki, your name was given to me and we're here to talk about the mask making and other things that you're doing.
Yes.
So what I would like to do, if you don't mind, is to first talk a little bit about where you came to be where you are. Like, how did masks come to be something in your mind and what your experiences have been around that?
Sure. Okay. So I was in California at the end of January and visiting with family, which are pretty much medical people. And we were watching everything unfold in China and particularly paying attention to the ship that was moving around Yokohama and they were having that coronavirus thing. And as my family, most of us we've all grown up in Japan. We were very familiar with masks and the concept of masking, and it was really fine. But we were looking and saying, this thing is going to come here. This was January. And so my husband came back the end of January with a mask. I came back the beginning of February. I had a mask. And I just...
Okay, before you get that.
Yeah.
So first off, your family grew up in Japan?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a remote fishing village with no foreigners. And so it was just that we were supposed to be there for 6 months and it ended up being 9 years. So
wow.
But it formed a lot of the way that we think or that we've raised, my husband and I raised our daughter.
And did the Japanese culture have masks for as long as you've been there?
It was just a thing. And it wasn't because you're sick or because the culture of masks are very different. It's a way in a crowded culture or crowded environment to have some privacy. When you're on a crowded train, I mean, if you've worn a mask, and I don't know if you have, but I wear a mask now when I'm out, you're much more private. It's when you're in a crowded place for sanitary reasons or whatever, it's just a thing. And so it isn't necessarily because you're sick or other people are sick. There are many reasons. If you want to rebuff somebody, a single woman on a train or walking, you rebuff somebody's advances it's a barrier in many ways. It's a social barrier, cultural, as well as for health.
That is fascinating because I find that when I go out now, I wear a mask and I feel really strange putting it on. And I see
that guy thing.
Yeah. I see everybody else and I don't think twice about it. I'm like, of course they're wearing a mask. That's fine. I never even think twice, but all of a sudden I got a mask on and I'm like, oh, I feel like a big goof. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's something to get over.
I think it's a guy thing.
Yeah.
And I have to start thinking probably of it as an accessory. And so when I make my masks, and I'll just show you a few that we have here. Okay. So all right. So let me just go back to
yeah. So your husband came back in January with a mask.
I had a mask when I came back the beginning of February, and I realized I wanted to make masks for family and friends. So I researched masks, and I found a study out of England, and they talked about the HEPA thing, vacuum filters. And while those were very effective, and it's all scientific, and while those were very effective, people couldn't breathe through them. So they realized that really wasn't the right answer. So they came up with cotton, 100% cotton, either straight cotton or t-shirt material. And I'm not very great at sewing. I am now, but I'm not very great at sewing stretchy fabric. So I ditched that. They talked about the comfort of elastics and things like that. And I ordered, and then a directive came out from Deaconess Health about mask making and the need for it in medical facilities. And I guess that was the first time I realized it was a medical need. And that surprised me. I did not expect that. So I ordered a ton of stuff the beginning of February, and nobody was making masks. Nobody was even thinking of it. And I was going to do it for family and friends. When the medical need came out, I ordered more. The price had gone up within a couple of days. I ordered $300 worth of fabric that didn't come through. The confirmation came through, but the order was never there. I ordered from other places. By the time you hit submit, half the order is not available anymore. So it was a crapshoot. And so I ordered a bunch of stuff and I started cutting things. The pattern called for an adult and a child. And I decided there needed to be an adult extra large. I sent different samples out to friends and family in California to try things out. And then I don't even know how it got out. I started getting the most heartbreaking, it's very tearful, heartbreaking requests from all the very top hospitals. And yet it was emerging, it was breaking. And some people said our hospital won't accept it. And a day later, the hospital's asking for it. You know, every hospital, I mean, labor and delivery in this hospital have been using, this is 6 weeks ago, using the same mask for a week. And I thought, if the new mothers going in ever knew that, it was like the behind the scenes. And I know when this is done, I'm going to make a collage of these requests because it never had to be, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I have always, since this, we started to isolate before this, before the directive came. And then when the school stopped, the first thing I did was offer an online cooking class for making bread, a virtual to donations to Project Just Because. So I bought all the ingredients and I left them outside on my porch, all measured, and people come pick them up and then go online and make a donation and bake their bread and post pictures. And then I started thinking of how else. So that was Project Just Because. Then I started thinking of other ways I could help. And I started just making masks. And donating. And then we started thinking, there's something else missing, and it was a shield. So I asked people, and I came up with a simple thing, and that was using it had to be cost effective, it had to be cheap, and it had to be washable. So I came up with the idea of using a backwards baseball cap with a vinyl shield held on with Velcro tabs. So the caps could be washed, the shield could be sanitized. They would come kind of as a kit with two shield, so one could be sanitized while the other one was being used. I'll put one on right now. My husband's doing this right now, making these.
Okay.
So here's the shield.
Yeah.
So the hat can be adjusted, for size. The shield go forward, backward, big nose, small, glasses, mask, whatever is under there. Yeah. This is before they became a thing where they started asking. So we made a bunch ourselves. And then Lisa Jackson of the Medical Reserve Corps heard about it. And she was getting things from nursing homes and healthcare. We were sending these out. I put it out to Real Housewives. Please, can you donate washed caps? This is the time to raid those closets and everybody to give up and reverse this curse and give up those baseball caps and golf caps. And hundreds were dropped off, washed at my house. And my husband, we ordered more Velcro. So he glues the Velcro on with an automotive thing, because even though it's sticky Velcro, it has to be washable. He has a collision shop. So I know from the things that don't come out of his clothes, I know that this stuff will stay. So these are now, all those masks, the hats are donated. And the Reserve Medical Reserve Corps has also donated some, and now they pay for the shield and the shield vinyl and the Velcro, which is pretty expensive stuff. So we've done, I'm thinking 300 of those, and we're
Wow.
my husband's thing. Okay, so initially we did it. So I was doing masks, he's doing the shields. And then it just, I mean, everywhere, pediatric places, nursing homes they're like the last to get stuff. So they're getting a lot in the request. And we're also giving masks to the Medical Reserve Corps that's being distributed all over the state. So we do that. And then people start asking for themselves, which had not occurred to me. It just didn't occur to me. And so I did that with the part of the, they're $10, and part of the proceeds go to Project Just Because, Baypath Humane, and also to fund more fabric if I can get it, or different things. And the community has been amazing and stepped up when I ran out of thread. And I want to make sure that I pay for all the things that people, I needed more fabric. I called it a quilter friend of mine, and I gave her $200 for fabric. And so I make mine reversible. I'll show you a couple of, my daughter also makes them for me. So she'll come over and pick up fabric and take it back to her house in Southborough and make them there. And so we make a big portion donated still, because that is a commitment of ours, but also to sell to people to benefit other things and to keep that other going. So mine all have elastic. This is one that has watches. I'm just going to use this one. This will be
Okay.
mine. Won't be, and it just slips on very easily.
Okay.
So what was brought to my attention was by somebody. Her dad was in Philly all alone, and he was frantic over not being able to maneuver a tie mask. He couldn't do it. He couldn't get his arms up behind his head, and even if it was in front, he didn't have the dexterity to be able to tie something small. And yet we are also desperate. There are many fabulous mask makers in this town and all around, and I send some stuff to California. Dennis Brennan is a musician, blues musician out of Boston. He and his wife, Diane Weil, I'm dropping stuff off to them. They're giving to people without homes and to musicians in Boston. I'm dropping a big route of drop-offs today to musicians in Boston. And also, I mean, just we're always dropping everywhere. So people are coming by, I'm doing them. But I only do the elastic. I do them reversible, so that for safety, it should be double-sided, so differently sided, I should say, because you don't want to put the exposed side back up against your face. So if it's the same, there's that risk that you're going to put the contaminated side back into a place you don't want.
Yeah.
So mine are child, adult, and adult extra large. And for instance, where did you want me to hold it? Here.
Yep, right there. Perfect.
Carries, and they're all complimentary. I'm doing some, here's some Red Sox. But I have thousands of pieces of cut fabric, and I try to ask people what their style is, because as you mentioned that you were feeling weird about wearing a mask. It's pretty much a guy thing with that. A woman can think of it as a fashion thing. I mean, and really kind of go for it, but a guy is like not quite sure. Red Sox works. None of my other sports came in, so that was out. But if you think of it as a tie or an accessory in that way, and I think if you just rock it, then you will, and you just have to accept that you will also meet your business partner at some point. Hopefully if your damn job holds up, whatever it is. I mean, we're all in some way. The kids are really going out now, but families are asking for kids as well. With kids, I was a former teacher in a Montessori school. So one of the things that's important is that it's not a toy. It's an important thing, and think of it as a car seat. It has to be treated in a certain way with safety in mind. So because it's a weird concept for a young child to see, parents wearing masks. This is just not right. You know, it's scary in some ways, or it's funny in some ways. So what you want to do is I have the parent or caretaker, whoever is caring for the children, model that between themselves if there are two, and just say, oh, we're going to go pick up something special for our family, and then come and say, these are something, and have the adults put it on and say, wow, this is great. I'm not going to, I like how I wear this, but I'm not going to touch my face, and I'm not going to fool around because it's pretty important, and it's going to help me. It's going to help me take care of myself. The same way when I buckle, it helps me take care of myself. This is what I can do. And so, and have the adults say, wow, I like how you're wearing that. That looks good on you. And just watch the child, let the child observe the two adults putting on the masks and not touching or fooling with it. And then say, we have this one for you. And then let them put it on and say the same thing. It's not a toy, it's to help us take care of ourselves. And you're going to see other people with it, but this is your special one. And so I have lots of patterns so kids can pick out this. I want the adults, I try to make that connection when they order one. I try to make that connection so that they'll have one that they like. What color do you like? What pattern do you want? Bicycles? Do you want bright flowers? Do you want their bikes, vintage fishing, you know, things like that. Anything you can think of. And I'll send them pictures of all the fabrics that I have, so that the more they like it, the more comfortable they will be wearing it, and it will be personalized for them in that way. So I think now, so we've done over 500 donations of just the fabric masks, and of the shields, just hundreds as well. I mean, they've gone to physicians' assistants in New York City, right at ground zero there, ground zero for the pandemic. They've gone to EMTs. They've gone to, you know, parents are saying, my son is an EMT, my daughter is at this, you know, just my friends have nothing. We have, every major hospital. My sister did her nursing school in Boston, and she did all her, in the old days when you did an intensive training at every major hospital. And I called her and I said, you would be brokenhearted to see all these major hospitals in major departments. The saddest one was a major hospital that was asking for cotton masks for their respiratory therapists. I mean, those, and there are no words for that. And there will, hopefully we are just going to go until they have the equipment and they don't need this anymore. But there still will be a need for personal protection for the people when we do start going out again. It's going to be different. Let's make it fashionable. Let's make it safe, you know. So, and let's make it, you know, so last week I made 2 donations to one, to each equally to Project Just Because and Bay Path Humane, and each was for $530. Next week, I'll be making another donation. They lost their major fundraisers, and we need to support that, you know. And we need to support, and I was listening to Rachel Maddow's show last night, and she's really focused on the nursing homes. And she did something very profound that she said, let's adopt a nursing home, ask what they need, bring them what they need, support them in any way they can. I sometimes feel like those are the last ones to get the equipment or the, you know, and that's where the Medical Reserve Corps comes in. They are really reaching out to all of these as well as big hospitals, as well as the hospitals, subgroups that don't have that same kind of access. Parents whose children have a compromised health, spouses with compromised health, parents that need, elderly parents, people that, it goes on. So anyway, we wanted easy access, easy on if you can, for a person with disabilities or limited mobility or dexterity. Those are important. Part of wearing a mask is reminding others around you that you're taking it seriously and stay away. keep your distance, and that's what I also have been very interested in personally, how I can make a personal difference. This came about, the Real Housewives has been an amazing resource for um, just in many ways over the years, the way they can give back or the way you can post something. And I did a fundraiser um, just by buying some apples and some dough and stuff like that and putting it up before Thanksgiving to do a fundraiser for a young person in rehab who had had a stroke and was facing some expenses coming home and things like that. And by doing apple tarts in 2 weeks, we're able to raise $2,800. And I realized, and that never would have happened had it not been for the Real Housewives group. It made me realize what is personal potential and how can one person with a little bit of seed money, which I will do, can make a bigger difference. And that has been, you just don't know. It's about time. So many people, we think we have time, but if you have kids at home, you have no time. You have no time. You're negative time, I don't have children at home. My daughter is able to help out by doing masks. We're doing nothing but like production here and taking care of our sweet mother-in-law who lives in town and lives in her own home. And so we have limited our family group to 3, and that's it. And we've done that since the end of February. So for care of, I worry about seniors not having a senior center to go to because it provides more than social, it provides so much. And so I worry about that. I worry about how lives will be different. I'm a senior, but I don't think kind of that way. I've like never been to the senior center as a senior, but I worry about those kind of things. I worry about the children. I worry about the teens whose profound loss of what is so important developmentally for them, for young kids as well. I've been doing some cooking class. I'm cooking once a week, pretty much once a week for a family in town. And so I'll do that. And then, but I'm doing a cooking class once a week through FaceTime with their children. So they all line up there and I've got a cooking project and I drop the things off. I also have been dropping off some surprise cooking projects around town to families that I know. Just they don't know what they're going to be making till the box of ingredients shows up with a recipe. And just, I really hand it to the parents who are keeping those kids going because the homeschooling is no joke. And homeschooling is a choice that somebody decides they're really ready to make, and to have this thrown at them among all the other things that everybody was facing, whether it's job concerns or financial concerns. I mean, just the upheaval that has happened. And we are very fortunate in our life to be able to have a home where we can isolate at will and to be able to just do what we can do. Our days are full. We haven't, they're very full and productive. And in any way we can relieve some of the stress or the pressure, and the stress is tremendous, that we will do that, So
Binki.
that's it, kind of.
I didn't even ask you any questions.
Oh my God, she'll talk to a brick wall.
I'm gonna, you know what? Quite honestly, these are extraordinary times, but not often am I speechless, and I am speechless of what you just did. I mean, you touched upon so many different projects, so many groups that you were caring about, and so many things that you are doing.
It's just tragic. It's heartbreaking.
Now, it is tragic and it is heartbreaking. I don't want to take anything away from that. There's so much devastation in this country and in this world over this, so on so many levels: financial, economic, livelihoods, health. It's just, this is an unbelievable, never seen before scourge that is happening. At the same time, this country has been through World War II. And one of our favorite movies is It's a Wonderful Life. And in that movie, George Bailey is in charge of scrap drives and he's in charge of rubber drives. He's contributing to the war effort. You know what? And what I find so powerful are the stories of people like you and the things that you're doing. Because you know what? This is terrible, but we're going to overcome it. We're going to rise above this, and we're going to live our lives.
Um, One of the things my husband and I have done for about 10 years is we host concerts here at our home. We don't take money. It has a name, Front Street Concerts, only because somebody said, "What's it called? What's it called?" And we threw that name out there, but it's not a thing. Like, it's not a business. It's a nothing.
Yep.
So we do it in our barn in the summer, and we are pretty connected to a lot of the musicians in town. And when this happened over 1 week, everything died for them. All of their tours ended, their jobs ended, and immediately I was getting the emails of, "We're doing a Friday concert online. We're at 7 o'clock. We're doing a Saturday, but they're now all competing for a few time slots, not venues. The venues are gone. The venues may not come back. We won't have anything probably this year. We were booked for the summer. But I look at these friends. So today we'll go around. I always ask, do you need toilet paper? Do you need this? We can seem to get more things. We have friends with compromised health. We want to make sure that they don't go into stores if they don't have to, And so we'll make a rounds this afternoon. We're going to Chelsea to drop off to somebody who's a DJ at UMB. We're going to be dropping off something else in Somerville. It's toilet paper and elastic. It's going to be a trip to drop off pigs at a music person in Belmont. It's going to be Andrea Gillis of the Andrea Gillis Band and Mark Panansky in Maynard to drop off things for their family. And we always say, what do you need? We have friends that, don't worry, we'll get it for you. We'll bring it and we'll drop it off. And, I worked part-time before for a caterer in Newton, and those are gone. Those jobs aren't jobs that come back. Those are jobs you have to redo. And it will come back, but some things won't. And we don't know what that new thing will be. And for people who are musicians, how do you start? It was a hard Scrabble life before. We don't worry here because we're just a venue with a stage and 80 chairs and, lighting and a sound system, but it's only our stuff. And if like nothing ever happened again, it's like no big deal. We put the cars back in the barn. It means nothing. But it does mean something to those people. And those people, it may not come back. And what does that mean? So, there are a lot of people. It's just, sometimes there was a stigma about you've lost a job.
Yeah.
Or you're kind of in between jobs, and it wouldn't really be said, but it would be said, alluded to, but, or braved over, whatever it is. They're not. We're all in this. And somebody said, well, it's not the same boat. Our boats are different, but we're all have something, whatever it is ourselves,
Right.
My husband he has a collision shop that was his grandfather's blacksmith shop. And his thing was, I'm just glad my father's not here to see this, because his father would not understand. Why aren't you open? Why aren't you, his father, if you said it was going to be a blizzard, stay home, he'd be out driving around in it,
Yeah.
So he wouldn't understand the closing of the business.
Yeah.
And yet they closed a little sooner than everybody else because they were worried,
Yeah.
And, so it's just, what comes out on the other end, we won't know, but in the meantime, daily, we put our best foot forward,
Right. I know. And I do think that good things will come out of this. There will be, there will be lessons and strengths that have been learned. And unfortunately, we have to wrap this up. But however, I have to have you back. And I really want to hear your life story of how you came. I want to hear, there's something there. But thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Thank you. Keep doing the good work.
Thank you. And thank you for watching this episode of the Hangout Hour. Please come back soon.